The Vegas Golden Knights earned 4 of a possible 4 points in a tough back-to-back scenario, and we take a look at the week ahead for the Vegas Golden Knights on today's Locked On VGK.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, good morning, everybody. The intro was a bit sleepy, kind of like the Golden Knights yesterday for a period and a half against the San Jose Sharks. Good morning, Chris Golick. I am solo today. Tony Cordasco is out on assignment doing something for somebody for some unimportant reason. I don't know. Tony's not here today, so you're going to have to deal with me. Today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy contests. All right, everybody. So we're going to start with Saturday's game against the Dallas Stars. Now, if you looked at my YouTube short that I uploaded about a half hour after the game ended, I was grumpy. I actually went out to my wife before I started. I said, hey, I need a word like with G that's kind of negative. I came up with Grinch, Golick the Grinch. Only someone like only someone like me can find a way to not be impressed by a 6-1 Golden Knights victory. A 6-1 Golden Knights victory against last year's Western Conference runner-up. Now, listen, it's a 6-1 game. That's a good thing. You have to win the games on the schedule. We're not going to take anything away from the Golden Knights and their effort. The reason that the game didn't necessarily impress me a whole lot is because of the circumstances, not excuses, the circumstances behind the scheduling for the Dallas Stars. So the Golden Knights are on the dad's trip, right? Everything's going well. Golden Knights have a little bit of time in Dallas while the Stars are wrapping up their East Coast road trip. They played Thursday night in Washington, had to travel back for a Saturday matinee. I know Tony has a word for scheduling circumstances like this. So, as expected, the Stars had a very sleepy start. Chandler Stevenson starts the scoring. So nice to see Stevenson finally get on the board. Goals can be streaky. They can be fluky. It can be impossible to score, and then everything you throw at the net finds a way to score. A little more on Stevenson's continued scoring in segment 2. Zach Whitecloud got the game's next goal. Nice passing from Carrier-Noir. Whitecloud skates in, snipes one over the shoulder of Ottinger. And at that moment right there, you kind of felt like this game was going to be a rout, right? The Stars just didn't seem to have it. But then former Vegas Golden Knight Evgeny Dadonov, Golden Knight legend, not ultimate misfit, but certainly a misfit for the Golden Knights in his own regard. They tried to trade him. They couldn't trade him, brought him back, and he actually had a nice finish as the Golden Knights tried to make that tough push to the playoffs in season number 5. Mark Stone pots the third goal of the period for the Golden Knights, and they would take a 3-1 lead to intermission. Nick Waugh gets on the board in the second period. Dorofeev gets on the board in the third period. Paul Cotter gets on the board in the third period. I don't have the direct numbers in front of me, but the Golden Knights snapped a lot of personal scoring droughts. I believe Stevenson was around 20 games. Dorofeev, Cotter, and Nick Waugh were somewhere between, I think it was 17, 12, and 9 games apiece. Somewhere in that window, but nevertheless, the Golden Knights would run away with this in a 6-1 fashion. Good week for the Golden Knights for scoring. You look at the games against the Blues, they scored 6 goals against the Blues on Wednesday. Monday was weird, right? The Golden Knights had 20 high danger chances to the Blues 5, yet Jordan Binnington just was an absolute wall in the net. So back to the Golden Knights game on Saturday against the Stars, right? Tough situation for the Stars. Very tough situation. Mike Amadio missed the game for personal reasons, trying to figure out exactly what was going on there. And then on the interwebs, started to circulate that he was a father. I don't know if this is his first tour of duty as being a father. I don't know if he's got multiple kids or not, but congrats to Mike Amadio. Better you than me. I've already got 2. That's plenty. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. You wonder what the Stars will have in store if the Golden Knights and Stars should wind up facing off down the line, right? Golden Knights did beat them. Golden Knights got all 3 games against the Stars this year. They swept it, right? Carry the one, do this, do that. Yes, the Golden Knights have earned 6 of a possible 6 points from the Dallas Stars. I hope I'm right. If not, I'll fake it till I make it. So the Golden Knights handled one of the Western Conference's potential contenders to represent the West in the Stanley Cup final. So everything seemed to be clicking nice and early in the week as the Golden Knights had victories, not just against the Stars, but against the Blues on Wednesday night. And then, unfortunately, in overtime lost, but they still got a point Monday against the Blues. All right, coming up next, Golden Knights fans, we are going to recap Sunday's interesting game against the San Jose Sharks. Always something when these two teams meet. Always something when these two teams meet. So don't go away. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Tony said we had to do a little break between the ad reads, so perfect chance for me to get some coffee. All right, welcome back, Golden Knights fans. Thank you for checking out Locked On Vegas Golden Knights, your Monday through Friday podcast where you can see and hear us. And then Saturdays, we have the special Chris and Chris show that is YouTube only. So please make sure to like, subscribe, comments, everything you can do to help bring a little more exposure to the Locked On Vegas Golden Knights podcast. All right, we're going to shift gears, everybody, to Sunday's victory against the San Jose Sharks. This game actually impressed me a little bit more than the Stars victory. I'm waiting for the reaction. I'm letting you guys just breathe for a sec. I know everyone just started throwing stuff at the computer screen when I said I was more impressed by a game in which the Golden Knights coughed up a third period multi-goal lead to the lowly San Jose Sharks versus beating a Stanley Cup contender by 5 goals. How can that possibly be? All right, so the Golden Knights just played 9 games across 16 days. I'll say that again, folks. 9 games across 16 days. In that stretch, the Golden Knights went 5, 1, and 3. A little more coming up on segment 3. The Golden Knights finally get a little time to breathe and get some practices this week. But for now, a very tight crunch in the schedule. I asked Braden McNabb about if he liked the tighter games, the games being a little sandwiched together, if you can get into a groove. McNabb thought it was a loaded question. I think he thought I was trying to set him up to kind of take a shot at the NHL scheduling. And that wasn't the case at all. It was an honest case of, hey, is it easier to get in a groove? Do you like just game after game after game, or having a little time to relax? So I think to summarize Braden McNabb's response, I think he likes a little more time between games to relax. Yuri Patera made his NHL debut for the 23-24 season. Patera did play 2 games for the Golden Knights last year and remains undefeated as an NHL goaltender. All right, so you got the Sharks. It's Sunday night. Golden Knights got a couple wins together. They're scoring some goals, right? So the Golden Knights should find a way to run away with this one, right? No. Mario Ferrero, probably Mario, but like Super Mario, that's what I'm going to call him. Ferrero finds a way to get the puck through traffic. Patera is unable to fight through a screen just 26 seconds into the game, and the Sharks had an early lead. Games against the Sharks, you never know what's going to happen. You never know. And this game certainly proved to be just that. That first goal came very early into the game, less than 30 seconds in. The game's next goal would not come until the beginning of the second period, where who else but Jonathan Marchessault would get the Golden Knights to level with the Sharks. So Ben Hutton was just trying to buy a little bit of time, I think. Hutton actually was kind of near the VGK net, rimmed the puck all the way around the boards. Didn't look like he was intending to find Marchessault, but unfortunately for the Sharks defenseman on the boards just did not have a really good effort to keep the puck in, and Marchessault immediately took off. I think you possibly credit the long change for a little something here, just some additional space for Marchessault to work with. So Marchessault comes down on the 2-on-1, and Marchessault is going to shoot that probably 8 out of 10 times. And Marchessault did find a way to beat the San Jose Sharks goalie. And this goal was a very important goal. You want to know why? Because this Golden Knights goal meant that the Golden Knights outscored the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday. All right. I want to know if there's a sports book out there that me and Chris Wynn were talking about this up in the press box, but I want to know if there was a prop out there. If you guys ever find this prop, I want to see it. For the Golden Knights to outscore the Raiders on a Sunday. So there you go, Golden Knights fans. And there you go, Raider fans. Imagine being a Vikings fan traveling. If you're not understanding the game I'm referring to, the Minnesota Raiders defeated the Las Vegas Raiders. Barn burner, edge of your seats, entertaining game, 3-0 Sunday at Allegiant, just hours before the Golden Knights game. So Marchessault's goal brings the game back to level, and at that point, you kind of feel the Golden Knights might be able to get something going. Chandler Stevenson gets his second goal in as many games on the power play. Now, we're going to talk about this goal for a second here. Stevenson used his foot to deflect the puck towards the goal and ultimately scored the goal. So this is where the NHL has made some changes to rules involving using your feet to score goals. So follow me here. This is the skate blade, all right? This is a skate blade on the ice right here. A kicking motion is determined when your blade leaves the ice to make contact with the puck. So picture like you're a soccer player and you're kicking the ball, you're following through. Your foot's going to do this. Your skate blade's going to be facing up. If you use the instep or the outside of your skates, same thing. If the blade stays on the ice and you're turning like this, you're fine. Once that blade goes up, for those of you guys that are on audio, you're missing just an incredible graphic of my hand swaying up and back like a pendulum to show you what a kicking motion is. So long story short, the easiest way to define a distinct kicking motion in the NHL is when the blade of the skate leaves the ice. Chandler Stevenson actually kept his skate blade on the ice and just kind of turned it a little bit, almost creating like a bumper scenario or a wall. I don't know what they call it in when you're shooting pool, but basically used his foot to angle the puck to the nets. And there was a good goal by Stevenson. They took a second to look at it. It wasn't reviewed necessarily. It wasn't a challenge situation, but they did take a few extra seconds just to make sure everything was good with the goal. So I said during the first segment, guys, goal scoring can be fluky. Stevenson's got 2 goals, one of which courtesy of his foot. So Golden Knights took a 2-1 lead into the third period. This is kind of strange. So going back to the first period of this game, the concern with the Golden Knights being on the tail of a back-to-back. Teams, when they're on the back-to-back, usually have a little pep in their step early, but then as the game goes on, fatigue kind of sets in. Whereas when a team is waiting for you, and the San Jose Sharks, usually they're going to start a little slow, and then they're going to kind of find their game as things go on. Well, this game was kind of a little bit the opposite. So Braden McNabb gives the Golden Knights a 3-1 lead, and McNabb really doesn't get enough credit for his scoring ability. When McNabb gets in tight, we've seen him score some goals where he snipes the corner. He has good patience and waits a goalie out and just kind of skates the puck right into an empty net. So, I mean, McNabb, obviously, his number one focus is going to be on defense, of course. But when McNabb gets these opportunities, he knows what to do with them. Eichel finds him just from across the ice. McNabb finds a soft place where no one is in front of him. And McNabb sniped it into the right corner. Golden Knights got a 3-1 lead, right? This is where, okay, this is the game that Golden Knights fans expected. Maybe Golden Knights would run away with it, win this game 5-1, 4-1, that type of outcome. Not necessarily. So Mike Hoffman of the San Jose Sharks scored a power play goal. This was just a weird goal. Hoffman was pretty much behind the net, just sends the puck to the middle, bounces off Korzak's foot and in. What are you going to do? It happens. There's nothing Patera can hang his head on. He can't be negative about that. That's probably a better way to say that. So, okay, we got a 3-2 game. Fine, whatever. Is there going to be one of these crazy Golden Knights Sharks finishes? Marchessault scores again. Great pass from Chandler Stevenson. Marchessault's second goal of the game. Stevenson's second points of the game. Stevenson sends the puck right to the slot where Marchessault, kids, go to the dirty areas in front of the net. Go to the front of the net. Good things happen. A little Eddie Olczyk quote right there. Get to the front of the net. Great things, not good things. Great things can happen. Marchessault has a stick down, right place, right time, beats the Sharks coverage. Now you got a 4-2 victory or a 4-2 lead. Now this game is over, right? This is the moment when I start packing up all of my writing supplies, if you will, and I head downstairs to the media room so I can get the finishing touches on my story, get ready for the player interviews. So I get downstairs. There's 5 minutes left in the game. Just kind of watching, getting set up. And then all of a sudden, Kalen Addison scores a goal for the San Jose Sharks. Now we got a 4-3 game, right? Okay, fine, whatever. This isn't going to happen, right? The Golden Knights are not going to cough up this lead. They are not going to cough up this lead. Mike Hoffman scores with about 40 seconds left, and the Golden Knights coughed up the lead. Coach Cassidy credited a blown coverage. I haven't found it yet, but Coach Cassidy did credit a blown coverage with the Sharks' late game tying goal. So what are you going to do? I mean, the game goes to overtime. That's the good thing. So at least the Golden Knights are guaranteed a point, right? A 4-game week, the game going to overtime assured the Golden Knights 6 points of a possible 8. So look at things from that perspective. Even before we talk about the overtime and shootout outcome, if the Golden Knights would have lost this game, it would not have been the end of the world when you take an all-in perspective. I will tell you right now, there is not a team in the NHL that come December the 11th, anytime in November, what month is November? Any month, November, December, January, even into February, any team in the NHL will take a 6-point week when there's 8 points on the line. So overtime, Golden Knights got the puck on the right guy's stick. Jack Eichel. Eichel had a pretty good breakaway all alone. He's been trying to pull this 5-hole move off a lot lately, and it hasn't been working. And I'm not saying Jack Eichel's not doing a good job finishing or anything like that, but Eichel, we'll talk about his comments about the shootout in a little bit here, but maybe Eichel should consider, something different than trying to go 5-hole on every one of these breakaways. But hey, what are you going to do? The overtime didn't see a lot of excitement. There's a few times when I was kind of sitting there a little pissed off in the media room watching the overtime, watching the Sharks the Sharks went full beer league or maybe more roller hockey in the overtime. They passed it back to their goalie once from their own blue line. That was the one play that tilted me. This is why the NHL is looking into finding ways to get more flow in overtime, not allowing teams to take the puck willingly outside of the blue line or outside of the red line. So I really hope the NHL can figure something out, because you have 3-on-3 best on best. You should see an exciting overtime. It should be up and back. A goal should be scored many more times than it shouldn't be in the overtime. So not a whole lot happens in the overtime. Go to the shootout. Patera winds up making all 3 saves. No, 2 saves. Patera winds up making 2 saves, and Eichel and Marchessault are the goal scorers. So there you go, Golden Knight fans. 7 points of a possible 8 points. 4-game week, 2 road games, a back-to-back. Excellent week for the Vegas Golden Knights. Mark Stone mentioned about 2-3 weeks ago that if the Golden Knights get through this tough stretch, they're going to be okay. Well, I think this tough stretch basically started about 16 days and 9 games ago. 5-1-3, 9 games, 16 days. I'm going to keep pounding that home for a second, because I know a lot of Golden Knight fans, they didn't like the Sharks coming back in that game, getting a little bit closer. But the reality is it's an 82-game season. Coach Cassidy, I did ask him what it was like being on both sides of the coin. So hear me out here. San Jose Sharks have been in Vegas since Friday, getting some time to decompress or maybe get in trouble, whatever it is that NHL players do when they have that extra night to hang out in Vegas. The Golden Knights were the San Jose Sharks. Not that they're the San Jose Sharks, but they were the San Jose Sharks Saturday as they awaited the Dallas Stars to finish up their road trip. Golden Knights had had a little extra time in Dallas before that game. And Coach Cassidy, he started his response by saying, you have to make sure not to overanalyze wins or losses in these types of situations. Stop it right there. Stop it right there. That validates my perspective about Saturday's game against the Dallas Stars. Yes, the Golden Knights beat the Stars 6-1. We've said this a few times. We completely understand this. But the Stars had fatigue. They were jet lagged. They were kind of everything that the Golden Knights were on Sunday against the Sharks. That explains why the Golden Knights kind of lost some of their energy throughout the game, right? Golden Knights got tired and the Sharks got back into it. So credit the Sharks for doing a good job at climbing back. And they've been the comeback kids. They overcame a 4-goal deficit against the Red Wings on Thursday. So after the Sharks started 0-10-1, I think they're like 8-7-1. Tony had a good stat on Friday's show talking about it. But basically, the Sharks have been playing 500 hockey. When you factor the start, that's not so bad. All right, folks, coming up next, we are going to take a look at the week ahead for the Golden Knights. Golden Knights finally got some time to breathe. Don't go away. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Eichel could score 50 goals, Tony. There you go. Eichel could score 50 goals. The Golden Knights could hoist the Stanley Cup again. And you can win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our #1 choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy contests. What players would you take this week to win 100 times your money? Fans can also play daily fantasy NFL, NBA, MLB, college football on Sleeper. You can make your entries in under 1 minute. All you have to do is pick whether studs like Carlson or Marchessault or Eichel will record more or less than their Sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more in a given game. To win 100 times your bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Golden Knight fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. All right, again, Tony wanted a little break there, so I get my little break to drink a little coffee there between segments. All right, welcome back, Vegas Golden Knight fans. Chris Golick, TD Chris G on Twitter, X, whatever the cool kids are calling it these days. Tony is out for Monday's show and maybe Tuesday's show. We'll say Tony was out for precautionary measures today, and we'll see if he can make the quick turnaround for Tuesday's show. Just want to take one more second to remind everybody, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is where is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. All right, everybody. So the Golden Knights, they only got a 3-game week. It's only a 3-game week coming up. That's certainly welcome news for the Golden Knights, and definitely Braden McNabb, who doesn't like playing a lot of games in a short amount of time. And, of course, the rest of the Golden Knights can get some rest. Golden Knights will not be having any type of organized skate today, Monday. They'll be back on the ice for a pregame skate Tuesday when they take on the Flames. I would anticipate, I don't know if they're going to take a day off on Wednesday, but there'll definitely be a practice day sometime this week. And then, obviously, the skate before the Sabres and Senators games over the weekend. So taking a quick look, the Golden Knights can really do a good job piling on the points. Golden Knights start with the game Tuesday, tomorrow evening, against the Flames. Bad pun, but it's reality. The Flames are kind of a dumpster fire right now as they're stuck in transition of players wanting to be traded out, as they're waiting for some of their prospects, from, within the Wranglers organization, that's their AHL team, just to kind of start to blossom, so to speak. Flames are 5th overall in the Pacific, 11-13-3. Golden Knights have had really good, if Chris was here, he'd tell you about it, my son. The Golden Knights have had really good success against the Flames in T-Mobile Arena. A couple days off, and then Alex Tuch and the Buffalo Sabres come to town. Alex Tuch, also a new father, so congrats to Alex Tuch and family. Hope everyone is healthy, along with the Amadio family, too. Tuch is going to have some juice coming to Vegas. It's always nice. Tuch doesn't look at himself as the villain by any means, but Tuch's always appreciated every time he comes back to Vegas. No one has anything bad to say about Alex Tuch. And you always want to stick it to your team, your former teammates. That's just how it goes. That's the friendly ribbing of being a professional athlete. The reality for the Buffalo Sabres, though, it's not going the way Sabres fans would have hoped. I mean, the Sabres are 11-14-3, so they're kind of middling. 7th overall in what's a very tough Atlantic division all of a sudden. 25 points. So, again, speaking of players want to take it to their former teams, of course, Jack Eichel will probably have a little extra juice as these two teams do face off. Sunday, the Ottawa Senators come to town. It's going to be a 5 o'clock start. That'll be the last home game for the Golden Knights before Christmas. The Golden Knights will have a road trip the following week where they'll be down in Florida. I'll let Tony talk about that later. But back to these Senators, 11-11 on the season. No games made it to overtime, or at least no overtime losses is a better way to say that. So I don't know. The Golden Knights can wind up taking a 6-game winning streak on the road as they go to Carolina, Tampa, and Florida the following week. Probably should have said this earlier. Very nice pregame moment of, can never find the right words, but moment of remembrance for the terrible tragedy that happened in UNLV. It's unfortunate, but now we can add UNLV strong to Vegas strong and the growing list of just terrible things that are happening around our city. It's not just a Vegas thing, unfortunately. This is something that I really hope one day we can just not have to talk about and be with all these terrible things happening. So Golden Knights reminding the entire city that they are there to support and do whatever they can as citizens of Southern Nevada to be there for their fellow humans, I guess. I don't know. I'm rambling. I don't have the right words to say. I just wish this nonsense would stop. All right, so looking ahead, Locked On, you can check us out Monday through Friday, anywhere you can see and hear your podcasts, and on YouTube. That's Monday through Friday, me and Tony doing our thing. And then Saturday, me and Chris doing the Chris and Chris show, my 9-year-old hockey-playing son who's learning how to talk back to his father, but we have a good time on the Saturday show. So please make sure to check that out. All right, guys, have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate you guys taking some time. And, we'll see you next time on Locked On Vegas Golden Knights.